Okay, welcome back. We are, it looks like Representative Heather Scott is joining us, and she's with Representative Mike Kingsley. They do ride together. Look at that. Excellent. Welcome, you two, to the program. We are hearing that we're nearing the end of the session here, so it may be this week. Do you think there might be another week? I don't know, but we wanted to have you on and kind of get your lay of the land of how things have been going and touch on a couple of other points here. So welcome, Heather. Welcome, Mike. So what do you guys think? Are we wrapping up this week?
I don't know. We just introduced a new RS today in State Affairs. So
yeah,
every day we're here, people have more and more great ideas. And so we could be done today. But as you know, at the last few weeks, there's a lot of finagling and horse trading. And if you don't hear this, we're not going to hear this. And so there's a lot of negotiating the last few weeks. And that's kind of what we're in, negotiation mode.
Usually I ask the pool secretary because they usually let them know because they seem to be more ahead. And she said they haven't said anything. So it's really kind of a crapshoot. We don't know.
But I would say, I'm guessing they're going to let us out for Easter. We think they'll let us out maybe Friday and come back next week. So I don't think we're done yet.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. We'll be here paying attention as always. You mentioned that new RS this morning, which dealt with the border crisis, or at least tried to. And I know both of you, were very passionate about a memorial that was up in the House. I know that there was a compact bill that I believe Representative Hawkins was discussing. So when it comes to the border crisis and immigration, I imagine this is one of the top concerns of each of your constituents, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's amazed me how little we're discussing it as a state. I mean, should be our top priority, and it's just like another blip. And I just don't think people understand the consequences of what's happening down there.
Yeah, and this is the first I've seen it really addressed with teeth in it. I mean, this is giving authority to the state to basically take action.
And who would be the actual authorities? Like ISP, the sheriffs? Like who are able to just like identify these people and move and do something?
The bill just came out, and I haven't had time to review it totally.
Yeah.
Voted to print it, but from what I remember, we will. I don't know. I don't want to.
No, fair enough. We've been refreshing the legislative site ourselves, and you seem to have obviously, as you should, have a copy before we do. So we'll keep tabs on it. But go ahead.
We went straight to the floor. We went from committee to a meeting to the floor. It's just nonstop. So I haven't had time to dig into it as deep as I need to.
Okay, good.
I've been disappointed with Governor Little's response, where even when this first started, send down a few state troopers to observe, or, there really hasn't been, yes, verbally he's been saying, I'm fighting this, but to really be honest, the actions haven't lined up with what his voice has been saying. So hopefully we can do something with this.
Yeah, and I think because he hasn't been as strong as you would hope, that sends a signal to a lot of your colleagues to sort of sit back a little bit and not fight for the bills and the resolutions, the memorials, whatever you want to call these things that you guys have been trying to do to address this. I mean, even a simple memorial that says, hey, do something. It wasn't passing a law. It was just, yeah, and we've been showing this clip. I don't know if you guys have saw this clip down at the southern border at El Paso. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. And also, we touched upon today that our northern border, it's not like our northern border is crickets up there. I mean, there are major concerns on the East Coast through Vermont, also in Minnesota, I believe. And you're eventually, it's not far-fetched to see that if they can't get in through the southern border, that they're going to be coming through the north border.
Well, and this does make it, the first offense is a misdemeanor, the second offense is a felony, and return out, take them out of state. So it gets the judicial branch, it gets the executive branch involved, and it does remove them. So, this is an invasion, what we're dealing with, and everyone knows it, but no one seems to be addressing it.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll obviously pay attention to this bill and see how it moves forward. Representative Scott, I wanted to bring your attention to your cannibalism bill. not necessarily to dive into cannibalism, but it's so remarkable how after everybody kind of made fun of your bill, that news broke and some footage from Los Angeles and we have it blurred out, where footage from Los Angeles was caught, where it appeared that this guy was walking around eating human flesh, and your bill, when it first came up, I think you rewrote it maybe once or twice or something, but you had discovered that in Idaho, cannibalism is already a crime. It's already a crime to knowingly eat human flesh. And your bill simply added that it would also be a crime if you offer it to somebody unknowingly and they consume it. And I think in hindsight, looking back at maybe some of the examples you were using, all that set aside, when I read the bill, there's nothing that seems so wrong that this bill should be sitting in the Senate after passing the House.
Yeah, that was the one and only draft. And
okay.
It was not controversial at all. It passed through 2 committees because it was introduced in one. The only people that got crazy over it was the media, because they're always looking for a soundbite. So there, I don't know that it will be heard this year. I've been told by Senator Guthrie there's no interest of the committee. So I don't know whether there's no interest of the committee, but I didn't really want to push it. I'm just glad we're having the conversation. We are forward thinkers. We do pay attention to things that are going on, and I don't know if you followed anything in Haiti and what's going on overseas, but we're always, as lawmakers, trying to preempt some of the problems that come up in other areas. And so the media will do what the media does, and they just want the sound bites. They just want to sell papers because nobody buys papers anymore.
It's true. Yeah. Representative Kingsley, any thoughts on why a bill like this and some of the other ones that just get stuck over on the Senate side? You hear the excuses, oh, the committee has no interest, or we blame leadership because they put it over here. I mean, these games.
It is games, and it's always been surprising. But I will tell you this much: since the last administration, the Mike Moyle administration, we're hearing more bills. That wouldn't even got looked at. Yeah. In the old administration, or regime, I should say. So I'm happy that we're at least having those to be able to get out of print hearings, that they're getting a hearing. So it is better.
New leadership has made all the difference on the House side.
Well, and it's interestingly enough, when you bring up how the old regime, the old regime leader is presiding over on the Senate side, and I know he doesn't have statutory authority per se on a lot of stuff, but we know his presence over there speaks volumes. So you don't have to comment on that. Okay, so Representative Kingsley, back to you again. I have gotten word that you are not seeking re-election this term, or for next year. So what is it that you hope happens in your final, could be your final few weeks here? Is there anything that you've been sponsoring or pushing that you want to see make through, that when you ride off into the sunset, you can say, hey, I had my hand in that?
Well, my entire purpose for running was the conservative movement. And that's what I came down here to accomplish. Myself and Brian Zollinger started in their freshman year the first Idaho Freedom Caucus, and I was really happy with that. But we were just not organized. We weren't, anyway. It pretty much dissolved pretty quickly, and divisions happened. And but to come back into this and see now that we have some support from Washington D.C. and Heather's leadership and Tammy's in the Senate. I'm really excited that that's taking place, and I want to stay really involved with the caucus situation. You probably have seen Main Street Caucus and what they've been able to put together because of the Idaho Freedom Caucus. They're answering back with that, and they were a little more. We got a little more participants, and they've made a difference, but we've made a difference as well. So I'd really want to see wherever we end up as a caucus, that we have the numbers and this unified and grow, so that we can just keep going in the direction where conservative voices will be heard again. And that's it. You know, if I could say anything, if I ride on the sunset, that legacy is here, that Brian and I started, and it's growing on. You know, I'll be happy and say that I accomplished what I came down to do.
Well, that's fantastic. I didn't expect that, but I love that big 50,000-foot view that you're saying. You know what? We laid the foundation for these folks to just continue onward, because it is so crucial, and the fact that we've been able to see such growth, that this Freedom Caucus, which may have been an underground caucus a few years ago, is now out and proud. You got a big banner behind you that you guys appear on whenever you're on this show or doing other press, and that's really important. So I applaud you for that. That's fantastic news to hear. That because I didn't realize that. I didn't realize how integral a part you were in that. So that's great. That's a great legacy, Representative. Okay, folks, I want to throw it to you guys on. I mean, what can we do? We always want to make sure people are leaving a segment, with action. So, what can we do in these final weeks? I know you guys are battling the budgets now. There's bills still sitting in state affairs. We went over a ton of stuff that are sitting in the Senate state affairs. Anything that we can do to kind of move the ball forward for conservatism and to protect our rights?
I think personally, just keeping active in our districts. Obviously, we're a long ways from home, and people don't pay attention to what's going on down here. And so we look for people that can carry our voice through the district, share the information, and when we get back, set up events where we can go share that information to others, what's going on. It's just having that active base that has your back when the media attacks, when you need something quick or you need a message out. If they stay engaged in their networks, that really helps us to get messages through when the left or the media tries to drown out our voices.
And I'll add to that. I'm sure you're aware, but I don't know, maybe people watching are about the precinct fights that are going to go on this year in the primaries. And it's going to be really important that, I know when I get home, that's what I'm going to be working on, is we've got to make sure that those precinct conservatives win, because that's the push, is to get them away so that they can start changing policy with the Republican platform. And we need the platform. We need platform conservatives to really rise up during the primary season here coming up. So try, if you say, what can you do? Try as much as you can to promote those conservatives being elected in their precincts.
Door knocking is key to get that message out. For those of you who don't know what a precinct committeeman is, it's the very last thing you'll see on your ballot. And it's a name you probably might not recognize. So it's a very critical position. It's the link between the grassroots and the Republican Party. And it literally forms the direction of the way you want the Republican Party to go or the Democrat Party to go. And so that is a really good point.
That's the one, we the people, that's the precinct level. That's your neighbors that are out, in their precincts. They're very small, and the door knocking and all that's really important, because that's where the representative government starts, is at the precinct level. So it's really important that we're the conservative side of that is, well, anyway, I could go on for hours.
Well, and if I were to pick the ballots, I would put that top of every ballot.
Absolutely.
It should be top, because our government, the people, should be at the top down from our citizens. And so I would put the whole ballot, but I'm not there yet.
That'll be next year. We'll do that in legislation next year. Yeah. Great points. Yes. So when these folks come back, get your questions ready for these town halls, set up events so you can connect with them, and pay attention to who your precinct committee person is. And if you don't know who they are, you find out. And if there's nobody there, then you run if you're a conservative. So we need that. Thank you. Thank you both for joining us. Good luck this week. We got a few days before Easter. I wish you all the best on Easter weekend as well.
I'll finish up one thing. Just, I want to compliment you and thank you and your organization for the support that you've given me over the years since you started here, and it's been just a pleasure to work with you.
Well, I appreciate that, Representative. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
And the Signal, Idaho Signal is just, it's great. We needed this, so thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. All right. God bless you both, and we'll catch up with you.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right. Take care.